Well, hello everyone. Labrit. This is actually a quite interesting topic, speaking about being hacked. We operate in pretty difficult environment. Lots of systems, lots of servers, lots of incompliances in the organizations, and the stuff fails. Stuff fails even in such simple situations, like, for example, yesterday we were going from Vilnius to Riga. We planned everything from A to Z, and what could happen wrong in going from Vilnius to Riga. It appeared that there's road construction in between, and we stuck for 2 hours. So, I mean, if something can fail in such simple situations, it can fail also in more complex situations. But first of all, is that a problem at all, that you will be hacked? Of course, we all see that those all alarming headlines, that this company was hacked, another company was hacked, it was Chinese hackers doing one thing, Russian hackers doing another things. And well, we all ask ourselves, of course, is that really concern us, first of all? The second, is that really a problem for us? If we will be hacked at one point, what will happen with our company? Maybe we shouldn't care at all about these alarming headlines, because, well, they might be that it's not relevant at all for us. Anyway, you were already introduced into cyber kill chain. It's one of the models of it. It is simplified version of Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain. But in general, without going into details, what's in, because previous speaker explained it a little bit how it works. In general, during every incident, you have two kind of phases of the incident. One phase where you can cope with all the preventive measures or simple detection measures, and another one where the breach is already happening and you have to deal with some reactive measures. I will focus here mostly on reactive measures for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons, actually, why in general we sometimes incidents happen, is that intruders are unpredictable. You can have, of course, some threat intelligence. You can have basic understanding how it works, the basic understanding of how intruders can operate. But actually, you cannot control everything. You cannot control intruder. You cannot control your internal systems to the level that you want. You cannot also control all your contractors that work for you. So, in general, you're working in uncertainties, and as intruders are not predictable, well, you cannot with 100% predict what will happen next. The other important thing is that prevention eventually fails. Uh, we work in the world that is not perfect. If we would work in the world that would be perfect, well, prevention would work, but it sometimes fails. And one important thing to mention is that some of the intruders are smarter than you. Not all of them. I mean, I would say that even small amount of them, but they are smarter than you. And if they really are after you, well, shit may happen. In general, well, speaking about the intrusions, or speaking about the advanced intrusions, only 20% of the intrusions are being detected by the companies themselves, if we speak about APT attacks. The others are kind of intelligence agencies and security companies, but in general, the companies themselves detect 20% of intrusions. That's pretty low amount, I would say, in the current state. So, question is what we do and how we react when something happens. Well, in general, first of all, speaking about intrusions, you have to detect them. You have to have ability to detect them. When the intruder passes all the protective measures, how do you find out that something wrong happened? And there are a number of tools that can help you in general. Well, alarm systems or intrusion detection systems. Well, they do not stop intruder. The intruder will still break the door or the window, but in general they can alarm you about that something is happening. The quality of them is not so important at this moment, but there are such activity. Police, security companies can also do that. Policemen going around in your neighborhood and watching for general order can be a very good advisor for you as well. So are the security companies that have the competence. Neighbors and security community. Well, the grandmother that sits in front of the door and looking at the surroundings is probably not the best security expert and not the best expert on intrusion detection in physical houses. But if she can say that, well, guy, I have seen those two guys coming to your house and looking around 2 days before. And these guys came today and did the same. So you might get some information from your neighbors, from companies that appears for you, the security community in general. Well, and of course your employees. Your employees are a very good source of information, and please get that information from them. If they see something wrong, get that information reported. Get reported all the incompliances. Get reported all the suspicions they have to you. That would help you to adjust. That will help you to see what is happening, and that will help you to respond to intrusions later on. When we detect something and we see that, well, it happened. Now, this good question, is that big incident or not? Is that crisis or not for us? In general, when we speak about number of about the incidents that are not incidents but the security events in general, we can classify them into small blocks. The lowest or the biggest amount of them and the lowest threat to us are kind of false positives or not a threat for us at all. Then we have blocked attacks that still kind of interesting information, but they are not threat for us at all. Then malicious activity that was not blocked by your systems, and also targeted attacks that, and these top two you are looking for. It's very good question actually how to find out whether this was real intrusion, was that only attempt, was the attacker having any aim at your organization at all? Well, if you find a computer infected with computer virus, how do you find out in general whether this was attack against you or just random installation of virus with I don't know, possibility to steal, I don't know, credit card data, for example. And this is pretty difficult question actually to classify these intrusions. And this is needed for later stage actually. This understanding is needed for later stage. And aggregation effect. If we see, let's say, single intrusion into, I don't know, some organization, it might be small enough for a single organization. But when we aggregate everything on the sector level, when we aggregate on country level, it can be pretty big. And understanding of whether it impacts also other organizations and which way it impacts our other organizations is crucial. So small incident for you can be crisis on country level or on the sector level, be it banking, be it some utilities company, be it whatever. So anyway, you classified the incident. It's you think that it is a pretty large one. You think that it's targeted against you. Now I have a question. What do you want to achieve with later on with it? Do you want to stop the incident at very early stage, so that information or money will not leave your company? But that would be very tempting actually. But that would mean that, well, you probably will not be able to find out who was doing that attack. If you kill the attack at the very beginning. If you want to find out who was targeting you, it might be wise to let certain activities continue and try to gather more information about the attacker. And where is that balance of stopping, preventing, and trying to understand who is really attacking you? and what are their aims, what are their motives, what are their capabilities, and so on and so on. If you stop the attack at the early stage, it might repeat, because this person that was attacking you is still out there. And it is after you, and it is he will try to find new holes in your systems and try to utilize them. So, kind of interesting dilemma which needs to be solved. And it's very important that this question would be asked before the incident happens. Because when the incident is already out there, it's too late to think about it. Oh, and as I said, the pulling of the plug when something happens, it's very easy for system maintainer, for system owner, but it's not always the best way. Then other question would be, how do you communicate during the incident? With whom do you communicate? What message do you send to your customers, to your management, to your supervisors? Should it be, in general, should it be reported or not? Sorry. If we don't report the incident to the authorities, what will be consequences to us? What will be consequences when we report that to the authorities? How to find a balance? Once again, not an easy question, and probably needs some thinking way before the incident, not during the incidents when everyone runs around shouting. And then when you kind of contain the initial damage, you probably want to analyze it and try to understand where were the weak spots of your organization, so that you can prevent similar incidents, at least similar incidents in the future. And then you need to analyze this exact incident and trace back it to the very beginning. What tools do you have for that? There are plenty of them that would help you, directly related to traceability or indirectly related to traceability. Let's say you can use some full traffic recording of your network to have better view. You can also use other tools like firewalls, like antiviruses. They leave some traces during the attack. So utilize as many tools as you have, but in general, ask yourself, if something happens in your system, can you trace back? Can you understand what really happened in your systems? Many systems I have seen don't have that capability, unfortunately. And when you need to trace back, then you have all the sort of issues that logs are not there, they are not logging the important information, the times on the servers are kind of off by some time, and so on and so on and so on. Lots of issues which can be solved if thought and planned ahead. Well, and skills, of course. Most probably, the regular organization doesn't have enough security skills to deal with complex incidents. And it does not need to have them, because the skills that required to respond to incident are usually pretty rare, pretty scarce, and they are not used so often. So question probably would be, how do you ensure that you get those skills when you need them? There are security companies, there are certs that can help you, security incident response teams. There are, well, contractors that can help you. But in general, it's those skills are there. You just have to find them. And about consequences, you probably have heard Heartland attack. There was a pretty big incident with lots of millions of cards stolen from card processor Heartland. So this is actually their share price. And of course, when you see when you see this point at 2009, where hackers stole information about 1 million credit card data, well, the share price have dropped. But in general, after 1 year, the company recovered to the same level. Probably not so good year for the company, but in general, they survived. There was another contractor, HB Gary, which was hacked pretty badly, so they didn't survive. They were bought by some. Essentially, their technology was bought by some other company, and that's it. And there was also Fidelity Information Systems. Well, if you think that this was the hack time, it was not. There was some price valuation change. Actually, the hack happened in 2011. The price went down. Well, in 1 year, around 1 year, the share price recovered. So, probably the message would be that if you are prepared, it will hurt you, but, well, the company can survive. If you are not prepared, well, everything can happen. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Tomas. We have time for one question from the audience. Please raise your hands so I can come together with the microphone. Okay, no questions? Pretty strange audience we have today, but they are quite skilled anyway. Okay, just my comment that, by the way, Swedbank is one of the first organizations in Baltics to introduce the concept of responsible disclosure. Are you aware of it? Do you know what the responsible disclosure is? Okay, do you want to tell a couple of sentences on this, but really a couple of sentences, please?
Yes. I think we were first organization in the Baltics that introduced responsible disclosure as a concept. In general, if you see that if you see any vulnerability in Swedbank systems, you can report that to us. It is my team that initially takes care of it, and what we offer in general is the feedback to you. We promise to fix that vulnerability. We have some deadlines. We have regular feedback to you, and in general, this is actually the way how we first of all get feedback from security community about how we are doing with security. And in general, if you think that if you are a good citizen and if you see something wrong in some systems, you can report that this way.